Survivor specialist Phil and Alexa are back with our episode 10 recap for season 39. It's so weird doing this on a Friday. It was Thanksgiving, and here we are Friday morning. Last week we talked about how Alexa didn't have her microphone. Well, now add me to the mix. I decided to pack it for my trip to Arizona and then forgot to pack the cord. So a microphone that cannot plug in is really of no use. So here we are.
Yeah, for those of you who are the new-ish fans of us, so within the past year, this is what it used to be. But so the internet's been pretty good. So no one's getting up and moving computers. That was an issue.
Although that might happen today because I am in the corner and I was watching I was watching Us on HBO the other day in this corner, and it just completely froze 3 times. So if that happened, I would be sure.
Scary to freeze.
What's that?
To just totally freeze.
Yeah, that's what will end up happening. So, but anyway, we're back, and we just watched a pretty good episode of Survivor. The one thing I will have to complain about, there's a lot of things to keep in theme with Thanksgiving that we're all thankful for, but something we're really not thankful for is the fact that this is a week where a lot of families watch this show who don't watch the show normally. So somebody gets somebody to watch it. And I watched it with 2 people who have never seen an episode of Survivor ever, and they came out of this episode thinking Nora is normal, and I have such a problem with it.
I didn't even think about that, but you're so right. So I watched with my whole family. My mom watches, but my dad and brother don't really care for it anymore. And they all walked out, and they were like, "That was a great episode. That was a good Thanksgiving episode. It had the eat or compete challenge. It had Lauren playing with that. It had a great idol play. It was everything you needed to get someone back into Survivor." But I was saying this to my brother. I was like, I love Nora. She's all over the place. And he was like, really? I'm not seeing it. So
yeah, it was a little frustrating.
Sorry.
Yeah, because all the Nora that we all know and love is the Nora who laughs when Jeff says one word, who just says ridiculous things. We're being told this week that she has intense focus. And it's last week we watched her drop out for peanut butter and jelly because she didn't realize that there was peanut butter and jelly involved, which I guess means she has focus, but doesn't. Yeah.
She's always been good in those kind of challenges. And also her staying on longer to try to get them more food was awesome.
So funny.
It was sit the F down. Uh-oh.
She just dropped out.
Phil is a little bit
butter and jelly.
There you are.
Am I lagging? I knew this was going to happen. I knew I was going to be laggy. Get headphones too. I hear myself.
You hear yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind talking for about a minute and a half? Because I don't know where the nearest headphones are.
That's fine for me. That's what I do.
All right. I'll be right back.
I'm going to say everything nice about Karishma now while Alexa's gone so that Karishma looks like so that Alexa looks like she still hates Karishma, which I don't think she ever hated Karishma. But how good was that, everybody? Who's been saying it since day one that Karishma can still win this game, that she was just getting a really bad edit because she was really bad at challenges. And once again tonight, we see her being useless around camp. Everybody goes through her bag. They all assume she's just a moron. And what does Karishma do? Nothing else but win. She ends up playing the idol correctly. I think this is the first time since Kelly Wentworth that a female played an idol correctly, which is just insane. And she did it so well. She needed to do it, got 7 out. And 7 votes that didn't count. I don't know who voted for Janet. I'm going to look this up while Alexa is hunting for headphones. And yeah, Karishma was absolutely unbelievable this week. And she just continues to keep on doing this. Look, I'm dead and I'm not playing well, and everybody buys it. And then she turns around and she's playing really good. And I said this earlier in the season, which is everybody on this season thinks they're the best player on the season. And we saw that again tonight where everybody thought they were just a better player than Karishma. And they just completely underestimated Karishma. It's been happening all season long, back to when Chelsea got voted out. And now here's Alexa with big headphones. She's looking real good. Now,
how do I sound?
Wonderful. I hope that my speech wasn't interrupted. I was talking about how great Karishma is and how much you hate her.
I love Karishma. What are you talking about?
I know, but I wanted to make sure I got all my words in there before you could come in and be like, wait, I love Karishma. But I wanted to make sure I was like.
I just well, I ran downstairs. I don't have non-iPhone headphones, which is why I'm wearing my dad's weird Bose ones. So I run downstairs and they go, is Phil just talking to himself up there? And I'm like, yep. I just heard Karishma like 3 or 4 times.
I'm talking to thousands of people, Papai family.
There's a lot of Papai down there. Yeah, Karishma had an amazing episode. She's fantastic. Easily most memeable person on this season. Like, she's unbelievable. When that first Janet vote came up, I was like, what would happen to this podcast if Karishma idled out Janet? Like, we wouldn't, where would we go?
Well, I wouldn't talk about how Karishma was good and had a chance to win. That's for sure. I'd just be like, hey, Karishma, you should have went home tonight. Stop being selfish. Okay. It was Janet's time to stay. I guess.
Win?
Yeah, right. Like, I looked and Karishma did vote for Janet, and then Dan voted for Elizabeth. I guess that was Dan kind of protecting himself and protecting everybody else. Yeah, it really was. So he votes for Elizabeth. Elizabeth gets 1 vote. This way it offsets whoever Karishma does vote for. And they didn't think they had to split the votes because Nora did a very thorough job searching through a bag that an idol was not in. And I love that there's like a piece of parchment and there's 3 things that have shells on it. She's fine. What's that piece of parchment, Nora? What was on the piece of parchment?
I just loved how that cut, because she's like chit-chatting with Karishma and then she's just walking away like bag in hand. Like, she just straight up took it. That was great. But the thing with like things in bags now is I would never put my idol in my bag. No. Like, I would do it like Lauren O'Connell and so many other people have done, which is like just hide it somewhere like in the ground, because I know that everyone's going to be creeping through my bag.
Yeah, you have to do that. And Karishma hid it in her armpit, which I guess at that point, everybody probably smells so bad. You're not touching anybody's armpit.
I don't even want this thing. I don't even want this thing anymore.
Right.
But
right? Like, Jeff had to take that. And it probably smelled so terrible.
Well, the thing is, Jeff's holding it up, and that is like the fakest looking idol I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like torn apart hemp and 3 shells. If I'm Jeff, I'm tossing that in the fire after, because that probably smells stanky. And it's nothing about Karishma smelling bad. That's just all these people are 30 days in and they probably smell terrible. They also probably smell maple syrup at this point.
That was amazing. I loved this.
The whole thing.
Because, I thought it was really cool that Lauren got to go back and tell them all what they were about to get, because it makes it so much more enticing. And what her and Tommy did, just being like, you're going to love it. It's going to be great. Everything is just perfect. Like, I just thought that was so cool. We'll get into Lauren's idol play at the end, which I still think is the right move in this day and age of Survivor. When somebody plays an idol and you know they're about to get 7 votes, you better play your damn idol, because you just never know where that stray vote is going.
Exactly. And it was Karishma who was in her mind, it was Karishma who was going to be the only stray vote. And Karishma doesn't have any allies. So and at that point, there's 9 people there, but like 5 were exposed. So just like with that math, Lauren's got to play it. And also, at the end of the day, it's only a 2. That idol's only good until the next tribal council. So just play it now, get it out of the way. We were all mad at Vince for not doing what Lauren just did. So I'm totally fine with Lauren doing it. I thought Lauren had a great episode. This is probably my favorite Island of the Idols segment yet, because it didn't affect, I can't say it didn't affect the game, but it affected like an eat or compete. And at the end of the day, an eat or compete is the person's choice. And what's saying Lauren and Tommy can't go and influence everybody. And she made the right bets. She held on. Rob gave her the 2 people instead of 1, at which point you've got to take it.
Yeah.
I mean, Elizabeth and Nora were 100% the right people to choose there. And she called it pretty much perfectly. The only person who didn't eat was Karishma. And I'm like, we talk about this all the time. And I was saying with my family, we were like, we would never eat. Like, how could we ever possibly eat? I feel like this is the most people we've ever seen eat before. Do you think it was a comfort thing? Do you think it was combined with all the pushing? Where do you stand on this?
I think that it was probably just because you're going to vote out Karishma, you're going to vote out Elizabeth. Like, those are your 2 people. And everybody else is just kind of like Dean doesn't think he's a GOAT, which is...
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But so Dean sits out, and it goes back to what I had said coming into this week. That original alliance of Vokai 4 is going to be in this game until the finale. We are going to see all 4 of them in the finale, because they feel that comfortable together and they don't vote each other out. And I know Janet keeps getting votes now randomly, but Janet's not going anywhere next week, because now at best they're going to turn it as 4-4. Dan, Tommy, Lauren, and Janet aren't voting for Janet. So they're never going to be able to get rid of Janet now unless there's an idol play. So
Janet masterfully got back in. She did a great job over the course of a week.
And everybody who was against her is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think when you have those four, and then you have somebody like Karishma who really is all over the place, and Dean. So Dean's feeling comfortable because he's like, okay, maybe they try to come after me, but they're probably going to come after Tommy, or they're going to go after whoever. And he thinks he has this legacy advantage, which if I'm Dean and I play that, I'm staring right at Jamal the entire time to see his reaction, to see if he's like, oh yeah, I knew it wasn't real. Because then that lets you know that the real one you have, air quotes, isn't real. You know what I mean? Because right now he's got the another fake one, the real fake one. But I'm not surprised so many people ate, because I think a lot of them knew that they weren't going to win this challenge. I'm really surprised Karishma did the challenge. I thought this was actually going to be just Nora versus Elizabeth, and that it would just be Lauren going, oh my God, I'm about to just start like feasting while the only two people I needed to compete in this challenge are competing in the challenge. But
I had a feeling Karishma was going to compete. Karishma knows where she stands, and I know she's hungry, but I like kind of what she said. She was like, and that was like her kind of her back and forth with Jeff was really good, where she was like, I want this, but my body is just not equipped for this. Like I like that she went for it. I always prefer when people go for it instead of eating. But those hash browns look really good.
Yeah, those hash browns look dope. I was like ready. That challenge made me go and eat White Castle last night for the first time since January, because for some reason there's a White Castle.
I had breakfast food translate to White Castle.
Well, because it was just food, and I hadn't eaten since like the 3 p.m. Thanksgiving dinner. You know,
yeah.
So I was like
9 p.m. plate.
I watched it last night, and it was like 9:30 when it ended. And I'm like, damn, White Castle at 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
We watched
it last night. So
we watched it yesterday instead of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which I believe is the first time we've ever done that. So the Pappas' priorities have really, really shifted now.
The Papai. Please say the correct plural of your family's name.
Yes. Okay, let's so let's start with Out of the Idol segment more, because I loved this. I thought it was great. I'm glad that like Lauren got kind of her big standout episode, because there's been a lot of talk about Lauren and Tommy and how Tommy's been getting a lot of just like kind of the credit, a lot of the airtime. But one thing that I thought was really interesting is that Karishma said that Dan is running the show, which says a lot about Lauren and Tommy, because it means that we see that they're running the show. Nobody else does. Those two have done such a good job. They called them both each other's wingmen, which I thought was super cute. And when Lauren first told Tommy about it, I was actually a little unsure, because his reaction was, why do they need to win? Why are we doing this? And I think a lot, like other people could have said, well, why didn't you bid on me? Like, why didn't you pick me? Tommy was like, all right, let's get everyone talking about breakfast. And there was such a good like jump cut of them convincing everybody, culminating in Tommy going, oh, well, it's full of carbs, to which Lauren goes, bacon isn't a carb. So funny.
And the entire internet was like, we hate Tommy. He's a moron. He doesn't know that bacon's not a carb. What a stupid ass.
That would be I didn't say that.
I'm just assuming, because I saw that he had tweeted, like, for everybody out there, I know that bacon is not a carb.
So this was the point in the season where it always kind of happens around here, where you see that everyone's kind of losing their mind. Like Lauren was trailing off in the middle of a sentence in tribal council, and she was like, I don't know what I'm saying.
Well, and I think what Lauren did here by not picking Tommy was actually a smart move, because you put no pressure on your ally and you allow him to go eat. He can go eat now, because he doesn't need to be one of the people. If she says, because I was thinking the same thing. I didn't realize that Nora was a vegan until this episode. So if I don't know that Nora's a vegan, I'm saying, like, why would you pick Nora? She's going to see the food and she'll be like, screw this, I'm going to eat. So I would have said Elizabeth and Tommy, honestly. And then once she said Elizabeth and Nora, or once she said Nora was a vegan, I was like, okay, you have to take Elizabeth and Nora. And I think this is 100% the right move. And I don't think Tommy's offended, because really it's like, cool, you're letting me go eat pancakes and bacon. This is great. I don't have to do anything. And I think that, and then the fact that they like did everything together, they go find the idol together. Like I said this last week, and I said this on the predictions, and Julie got mad at me because I said this is the predicted order of finish that I have for this season. But I really think that Tommy and Lauren are going to be sitting in the final three together, because everything we've seen is just them together. And this week especially, we got so much of Lauren just knowing everything about her tribe and knowing the people like the back of her hand, that feels like a final tribal council speech to me.
Yeah, the two of them they're just a very equal relationship, which you usually don't see. At this point, you always see one of them thinking like, oh, I think it's time to cut them, but we haven't seen that yet. So it'll probably come. But I think the two of them are so, so good together. And I also like when Lauren was, because I don't know how much time you have between leaving Island of the Idols and story time. I can't imagine it's longer than 20 minutes. So you've got to come up with your story quickly. And I think Lauren saying that she won them the ability to make it an eat or compete was really good, because that put her in everyone's good graces. Like, thank you for getting this for me. And I think maybe they learned from when they were on that new Vokai trying to push Dan like out of the group. I think they learned that, like, okay, when you're going to push people, just make it conversational. Don't be like, you should definitely eat. You should eat bacon. You need some carbs. They were pretty like low key about it. And I thought it was great. I love Jeff revealing it, and no one was shocked.
Amazing.
Never see that. It was great. I thought that was such a well done like segment of the show, and I thought Lauren did a great job. And I'm with you. Lauren's got to play that idol, and I don't think people are going to view it as like a crazy misplay, because, like you said, Karishma is getting every single vote. You have to do that, because otherwise you have a 1 in 5 chance of going home.
Yeah, and you know that Karishma is not going to vote for Elizabeth in that situation. She ends up voting for Elizabeth on the revote, but she's not happy about it because that was somebody she started off with. She can't vote for Nora. She's probably not going to vote for Dean because despite the fact that Dean and Karishma had been against each other for a very long time, they really aren't now. She might vote for Dan, she might vote for Janet, and she might vote for Lauren. If I'm Tommy, I'm thinking maybe she's going to vote for me, although it seems like Tommy just has good relationships with everybody. Tommy's name still does not come up this season. The only time it came up was during the Missy vote, but that was because it was such like a small group.
Yeah,
but other than that, it hasn't come up, and he was able to rebound from that easily.
Well, because the only people who voted for him went home and then went home this week, so that did quickly. But if I'm Karishma, I'm definitely not voting Dean, because Dean did the whole like, I'll show you later tonight why I'm safe, and everyone was like, okay, got it,
okay,
got
great.
it. Yeah,
I love Dean. Dean's been great since the opening.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. So in the moment, I was like, "What are you doing?" But the more I've thought about it, so I go two ways with this. If this is real, if what Jamal gave him was real, fantastic move. But he doesn't know that it's not real. So in Dean's mind, this is a good move. The only reason that people are saying it's dumb is because we know it's not real. So we're gonna have a great moment when Dean tries to play it, and then Jamal for the first time since being on the jury like cracks a smile because he is stone-faced up there. I don't mind it. I think he played it well, and he's like, oh man, it was fake. The only thing is, I'm just kind of surprised that he thinks it's real, because no one, himself included, believed it was real when he first got it, right?
But now everybody's telling him they think it's real. Janet said she thinks it's real. Tommy said he thinks it's real. I think it was Dan said he thinks it's real. It's really weird.
I wonder what twisted that. I wonder how that happened.
I don't know. I think maybe they all thought we're just trying to get him to play it at 9 so he doesn't still have it at 6. So it's like, I think it's real. I think it's real. I think it's real. You should play it. You should play it. You should play it. Just so that it's out of his hands, just in case it is real. So maybe they're all playing him a little bit. But I thought this was a great move. And I haven't looked on Reddit at all because, like I said, I watched it last night, went to White Castle, went to bed. So that's a great American day right there. You go, you
after
eat.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you feast on Thanksgiving, you watch 3 football games, you watch Elf, and then you watch Survivor and go and eat White Castle and then just fall asleep. That's the American dream. But I haven't read anything, but I think it's a good move, because what you can do by playing this fake one is now you can judge whether the other one is real or not. Because if I'm Dean and I'm playing that, as soon as I sit down, I'm just staring at Jamal. And when it comes out that Jeff says this is not a real advantage, this is nothing, I'm staring at Jamal to see if Jamal gives away and is like, whatever. Oh, you got, like, you can tell by a reaction and the way he moves, and like if he's like patting everybody on the shoulders and everybody's laughing or something, it tells you like, oh, it was never real in the first place. And then he knows that the one he has isn't real. But by Jeff saying that, if Jamal is like shocked over on the jury, then you sit there and you go, I have a real one. I still have one. This is fantastic. So I think it's really cool that he did it this way. And I think you do learn a lot if you're Dean. We don't see it that way because I don't think Dean goes on to win. So we're not really meant to like see him like as like this positive strategist, but I think this was definitely 100% the right.
I know the only thing that sucks is Jamal's not giving anybody anything on that jury. If it's like if Missy or Aaron gave him that, then he would know, because like Missy and Aaron had some crazy reactions. Jamal's not giving anybody anything.
Yeah, Jamal looks like Jeff Kent over there. He's like, I just want to go home.
I'm out of here. This sucks.
This sucks. What else did we have in this episode? We had the challenge. We only had one challenge, right? Yeah, because we didn't have a reward this episode.
That challenge looks,
because they're going to eat.
That
so we didn't
tough.
really need
I didn't know, like, is that like your forearms and your biceps? Like, those are two muscle groups that I am.
Yeah.
I look like
no, that's what Alexa's known for. If you've ever seen pictures of Alexa, she's jacked up.
I'm so jacked. Yeah, that's why I always wear sweatshirts. I'm trying to be modest about it. Yeah, let me think.
Why do you think it was the right? I was just going to say, do you think it was the right move that they all voted for Elizabeth on the revote instead of Janet?
I mean, I think they thought it was. I think Elizabeth. I think they could have used Elizabeth, because I haven't read Elizabeth's. I haven't listened to her Ponderosa yet, but I think she said something along the lines of like, I just wanted to play loyal. And that's someone who I want to pick up and be aligned with, because once Missy and Aaron were gone, Elizabeth was a free agent, and not a free agent kind of in the Karishma sense. She's a free agent in that she just wanted a buddy. But I get them not wanting to, because they've had that tight group for a while. I don't really know who the group is. I know it's like Dan, Janet, Tommy, Lauren, but then Dean's a part of it. And it's really just like Karishma who's not. It's like Nora seems to be a part of this crew.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Dean being worried that the goats were going to come after him, Tommy, or Elizabeth. It's like, why do you feel so defensive of Tommy? I don't know why he felt so defensive of Tommy, and I think this, again, leads to how Tommy's just playing a great social game. Somebody he's not even really aligned with is worried that Tommy could go home because of the goat army. And I don't know. I don't think Tommy is as worried about Dean going home. Yeah.
No. I don't really know where Dean stands. I have no idea what to make of him. I don't know who he's aligned with. So I think he's voting with that group, but I bet Nora has more like clout in that group than he does. So I'm not really sure.
Weird.
I think them getting rid of Elizabeth, look at who's on the jury. It's like Missy, Aaron, Elizabeth. Those are your immunity threats right there. So they've been really getting rid of them. So I don't know. I mean, Nora's been going on a run. I don't think they're going to vote Nora out just because of that. But now it's like, this entire group minus Karishma is kind of together. So let's say Karishma finds another idol, or Karishma wins immunity. For whatever reason, Karishma doesn't go home. They have to start eating themselves, and I don't know where it's going to go, because Elaine's like technically not in that group, or maybe she is, because she's been talking about loyalty. She's been kind of saying that that's her brand. But no one's targeting. Like, I don't know who's targeting who other than everyone targeting Karishma in this group now.
Well, I mean, I think there is with Lauren, Dan, but if that's a group 4, now you're. I would like to accidentally have to sit next to Karishma, and she has no power, because Karishma's got to flip one of your core 4, which I next got to go after Elaine or Dean, because Elaine or Dean win, especially the week after that. I'm getting rid of the one that I didn't get rid of. Now you're going to Karishma and Nora, who were the 2 leaders of the goat, longer goat after playing an idol correctly, and then you have the core 4. So I think that you have to go after Elaine and Dean in the upcoming weeks, because going after Karishma, yes, she does have her, she has her idol play, but she has so much other disrespect for the entire game that I don't think it's really an issue. I think that she still has to overcome.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I saw someone tweeted, like, a correct idol play, no matter who you are in front of a jury, is just a good look. Like, no one knew she had it. That was fantastic for her, but I think you're right. I think if you put her in the final tribal right now, people are still going to feel the way they feel about her. So Karishma still has some steps to take to get herself in kind of that not go position. But I think that was huge for her. I think at least now she has an argument. But I don't know. I think when this happens, they're gonna think. I feel like they're gonna move the target now, because someone said when they were between Karishma and Elizabeth, they were like, Karishma's gonna be the person. I think it might have been Dean. Karishma's going to be the one who we keep saying we can get rid of whenever we want, and then she's sitting in the final third. I think that's what kind of started this whole GOAT Army discussion. Yeah. But that's on point. That's kind of like what everyone's been saying about Elaine this whole time. So it's weird that kind of all of these premonitions are getting fulfilled. Because I do think Elizabeth was the right person to get rid of here. But I don't know. At the same time, I feel like I could have benefited more. Like if I'm playing, I would have benefited more from having Elizabeth because I think Elizabeth would like align with me.
Mm-hmm. I'm like glitchy. I keep getting called.
Yeah, you're a little glitchy.
It takes forever for them to pop up. Hey man, I ain't home. Can you? Because I want to read this
now I
comment.
Yep, go ahead.
Well, Mayday dude said if people don't like you, they won't vote to give you $1 million. Not rocket science. I don't think people don't like Karishma. She's coming across. I think that people don't think Karishma's playing the game, and then she tonight. I think they're annoyed with her because she seems a lot lazier, more useless than she really is. And so I think that tonight, all of a sudden, people are going to be like, wait a second, we should be taking her more seriously as a game player.
No,
but I don't think anybody was taking her seriously as a game player. And I know we're on a delay here, so.
Yeah, so no, I don't think they were either. But I think, and I'm saying this as somebody who likes Karishma, but at the end of the day, we and people are seeing someone who's lazy around camp all the time. People are objectively not going to like that. Viewers aren't going to like that, and people who are living with her aren't going to like that. So I think that combined with not seeing her as a game player, those two happen together. So I don't know whether or not they dislike her, but I understand why people are like, why they're like voting for her all the time. Like I'm seeing that, but we're also seeing Karishma's growth out of it. So where this goes, like it seems to be going on like an upward angle for Karishma, which is great. But when people like, they're voting for her because they see her as lazy and they see her as unpredictable.
Well, what I was gonna, and I don't know, like I know like we're off.
Yeah, there you are. You're
I
good.
I know what you said.
Okay. How about now?
Well, what I was gonna say is if she can spin this, and she can start to say, well, the reason I was lazy around camp, the reason I was doing all this is because I know I'm getting all the votes, and I wanted you all to feel so confident that you would vote for me and I could play my idol correctly because I needed to make sure that the time I was actually going to go home, I played my idol the right way, considering all the other times I've gotten votes, I haven't had to play my idol because I knew I wasn't actually going home. If she's able to spin this as a positive, then I think looking at her as like, wait, she's lazy and she's useless around camp. It's like maybe that was just all gameplay, get votes and know she's living on borrowed time, and she needs to make sure that when she actually is going to go home, she plays idol. And now people are looking at her as a gamer rather than lazy and sitting around doing nothing at camp. So it could go either way.
I think it's also a snowball effect because even from the beginning, like even like what is this episode 2 where they were all swimming together and she was like, I don't fit in with this group. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable taking my shirt off. She cuts her finger. They like don't go to help her. This has been snowballing for a while, and I think it's kind of like Karishma sees it as she's not connecting with them. They see her as an outsider, so it just automatically pulled apart and could never really get back together. And I think, I mean, the truth lies in both of them, but I think Karishma already wasn't comfortable with that group, and then they pushed her away. And then I think at that point, yeah, you're right. I think she was just like, okay, well, I got to play for myself. And that's just how her game has gone.
Yeah. And if you're worried that Karishma is going to sit in the final 3, why are you worried that Karishma is going to sit in the final 3? Because if you know everybody doesn't like her, yeah, there's nothing to be nervous about. If you know everybody doesn't like her, you're just trying to sit in the final 3. It's what Brett always said about Hannah and Ken. If you're sitting next to Hannah and Ken, you win. You win $1 million. And that's what I think you're trying to do on this season is if you can sit next to like Karishma and Nora, who even though I think Nora could sneak in a vote or two, if you can sit next to Karishma and Nora, you're going to win $1 million. So why at this point, if you're in the majority alliance, would you get rid of Karishma now? Maybe you do it at final 6, maybe you do it at final 7, but at final 8, I just don't see a reason to do it. I just don't see why you would do it. You've got to get rid of Elaine. You've got to get rid of Dean because both of them could actually steal votes from you.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I don't think anyone will have a confessional saying like, I hate Karishma. because I don't think they dislike her. I think they just don't take her seriously.
Yeah. And what did Karishma say today? Mimosas are like her favorite drink after Applebee's is her favorite restaurant. So like
she's good. If I'm a brand, I'm calling Karishma.
Right? She can sell it for you. I just imagine Karishma like at Black Friday brunch today, sitting at Applebee's, chugging mimosas, having like the time of her life. So that's all I can think about.
That's the dream. I know. Yeah, I know. But then that kind of sucked because she didn't.
It really is. So what? Yeah, no, that's true. She didn't even get them there and be like, God, I hate this.
We're on a bill.
No, I have second lag the entire. I keep trying to talk right after you're done, but I'm following your mouth. I stopped talking. Alexa and I are now sitting in total silence.
All right, say something.
Hi.
All right, this isn't working. What did we miss?
I don't know. What are we missing? I'm still talking. I still hear you when you're coming in time. Can Alexa not hear me at all? She's not giving me anything. She's just grunting.
I can hear you. I'm purposely not giving you anything because it's not working. We're just going to keep kind of talking over each other.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, I guess we should just call it at 31 minutes then.
Yeah. Is there anything else we've missed? Anything else we don't have?
I don't know. There's probably stuff. We can just talk about it on Sunday.
Okay. So
I'll be in normal Wi-Fi.
Sunday, we have a very exciting guest. Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific time at 5 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be joined by none other than Billy Garcia of Survivor Cook Islands. We are so excited to have him on. He is going to be a gem. We've podcasted with him before about something you guys will see in the future, but he's good. He's got some good energy. He's a gigantic Survivor fan, and we're going to be doing our episode 12 predictions and power rankings with Billy. It's going to be a great time, so make sure to tune into that.
Yeah, and if you did power rankings and you sent me power rankings before Thanksgiving, I completely ignored them because it was before Thanksgiving, but I'll put them in. It'll happen. And I love this.
Oh, yeah.
Billy Garcia, you're joking.
Oh, we're not. We are not. This was a fun. This is going to be. Yeah, he's good people. So so stay tuned for that. I'll post at some point, maybe tomorrow. I'll post some updated fantasy game stats, but yeah, we'll be back this Sunday. Thanks for the delayed, or we're doing a very delayed recap, so we'll repost this. But in the meantime, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For those of you who are $10 patrons and $20 patrons, we just did a Thanksgiving Aunts and Uncles podcast, which was our favorite one yet. So make sure to become a patron. We have 4 different tiers: $1, $5, $10, and $20. All different amounts of content that you can get. So make sure to become a patron. Go to patreon.com/SurvivorSpecialist, and we'll see you guys on Sunday.
Sorry for the lame podcast, guys. And it will be better.